So this chapter starts off with us seeing the team that's taking on Shigaraki. In the previous chapter, when the villains are split up, it turns out that Shigaraki was exiled completely by himself, meaning that he has like no Nomus or other ancillary villains with him. And the location that they chose for this was UA, which is like floating on this platform that has these pillars around it with like this electrical net. However, the one thing that's not going according to plan is Izuku not being here. He was like the crux of this plan, but as we saw in the previous chapter, as Toga was being transported to her individual location, at the last second she was able to grab Izuku and bring him with her. And unfortunately, we're getting no updates on that in this chapter, but the heroes still kind of have to do what they have to do. So we see Shigaraki like instantly going for a decay tidal wave, that this entire operation here was established to counter Shigaraki in nearly every possible way. So as soon as the decay is activated, these like metal plates eject out of the ground as a way to completely nullify decay and the spread of it, as well as keeping Shigaraki airborne, launching him into the net, and the net is electrified and it's stopping Shigaraki from being able to move, or at least in theory, because his body does seize up from being electrocuted, but he's so incredibly powerful that he can still move. And that's where Best Jeanist comes into play, using pretty much the same strategy that we saw him using as Gigantomachia in the previous war. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor, HitPaw Screen Recorder. Guys, I'm sure for one reason or another you've needed screen recording software, whether you've needed to record gameplay or a clip from your favorite anime. Well, that's where HitPaw Screen Recorder comes into play, because you can record anything you want on your computer screen. You can capture your gameplay and upload it to social media. It also has a picture-in-picture feature to record screen and webcam at the same time. You can even record your phone screen like iOS, and you could do it on Windows or Mac. And it also comes with this super convenient editing software. It allows you to edit your video freely right after you record it. It also has nifty features like showing your mouse cursor, which can be highlighted. You also have the ability to draw or highlight things on the screen like you were some football commentator. It even supplies you with arrows that you could put on the screen to highlight exactly what you need to show. So guys, check out HitPaw Screen Recorder because it is truly some awesome software. I'll have all the links in the description that you can check out. Thanks again. Using those thick metal cables, he's able to restrain Shigaraki from like further movement, especially like restraining his arms. Shigaraki says like, you must feel safe keeping me in the air, but like as soon as I get back to the ground, I'm going to destroy everything. And you're going to run out of terrain soon. Best Jeanist goes on to explain that they're not going to run out of terrain because they have all of these backups and contingencies in place so that they can keep producing these metal plates that are going to eject out of the ground in case he uses decay. And we see internally there's like this team that's operating synergistically to make this happen. We have like Cementoff, Power Loader. They're making sure that like the physical plates are actually getting to where they need to be. Then we have Hatsume from the support team with some other ancillary student heroes helping her with the minutia of things. And we see Yaoyorozu, who is meeting these characters maybe for the first time, I guess. She's using her quirk to like, I guess, produce the metal plates themselves, or at least the foundation of them. And then subtly in the back, we see Lunch Rush producing food for her because her quirk is like pendant on her lippet. So if she keeps eating, then she can keep using her quirk. But then it's also revealed where the power is coming from to generate this big elaborate operation, just keeping this thing afloat, but also the net being electrified. And we see Kaminari, using his standard quirk, generating as much power as he can. And we see Fukudashi from Class 1B using his quirk to generate an electricity producing onomatopoeia. And then there's two other implied to be student heroes here, and they say, focus up first year, so that means that they're at a higher class than those two. But also it's just really too bad that we didn't really get too much insight into what's going on with the other classes in UA, especially like the second years and the third years. I mean, of course we got plenty of insight into the big three, but outside of that, it's hardly ever touched on. And like I said, it's just too bad because this is like the final arc, so we will likely never get insight into what's going on with the second years or the rest of the third year. But it doesn't stop there, because as they have Shigaraki still suspended in the air and Shigaraki is about to respond with an impact blast, then we see that his quirk is being nullified because Monoma is using his quirk to copy Aizawa's erasure quirk, and on top of that, Manuel is keeping his eyes hydrated with his own quirk. This is really cool because this is, like I said in my spoilers video, was exactly the strategy that they used against Shigaraki in the previous war, but of course Monoma wasn't there, so this is just that with extra steps. And this right here was supposed to be where basically Shigaraki was going to be taken down, because like I said, Izuku was originally supposed to be a part of this team, and they were supposed to get Shigaraki to this position, turning off his quirk, and then just have Izuku like beat him down. Since he's gone, they're kind of stuck, and it's really not looking good for them, because even with his quirk factor being turned off, he's still like the strongest person in the world at this point, I guess, at least like from a physicality standpoint, aside from, you know, Izuku using 100%. But speaking of his quirk factor being turned off, we start seeing him produce like this Tetsuo anomaly hand stuff. And we also saw a little glimpse of this back in chapter 341 when Spinner was observing Shigaraki kind of like freaking out in their little cave base of operations place. And when All For One saw Spinner witnessing this, he was like, worry not, Tomura is recovering well as he conquers the quirk doomsday theory, aka the quirk singularity. So now that I'm actually seeing the chapter itself, I wasn't really aware of this in the spoilers, but it appears that erasure is still being used on Shigaraki, I guess, right? It hasn't been shown that it's not being used on him, so that might mean that this like isn't a quirk, because I thought maybe this was like a mutation of what All For One was doing against All Might and Kamino, but I guess it's not. I guess this is like a further mutation of whatever is going on with Shigaraki outside of the realm of quirks, and it goes back to the quirk singularity becoming so powerful that your body can no longer control it. And like I also said, this, you know, heavily resembles what was going on with Tetsuo in the Akira movie, which was Tetsuo not being able to control the new psychic powers that he developed, which led to his body having like this absurdly grotesque spontaneous mutation. And I guess the same thing is happening with Shigaraki here, which is how he's able to get around the erasure, I suppose, and he strikes Mirko with it. And that's where the chapter ends, and you know, it's like a cliffhanger leading us to believe that maybe Mirko is in danger here. I mean, she is in danger, but like, is she going to die? I'm sure that has been a hot topic coming out of this, but like I said in my spoilers video, it would kind of be like unnecessary to kill her, especially after she had like a near-death moment in the previous war, only for her to survive it and then come back, you know, with her prosthetics. So why just bring her back to kill her? You know, I mean, it is possible Horikoshi could very likely do that, but it just, like I said, would seem so unnecessary. I mean, I do fully expect heroes to die in this final arc, but maybe not Mirko needs to be one. But let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments. If you liked it, guys, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.